What made you smile today?
Mm, a lot of things. Where do I start? Exercising made me smile. I went out after exercising. I went from the gym and it started raining, and I was just like, okay, I'll just bike home in the rain. And I was just kind of laughing on the bike because it was like, this is fine, it's fine, it's all good.
Oh,
It was
wow,
just
we're lucky. You've got a very neutral day. You're very cheerful.
yeah. But as I said, I think exercising helps a lot with that. After you release so many calories and so much energy, I feel so full of energy, and then I go out and nothing can really stop my mood from being cheerful.
Hmm.
It's just another day.
Good. Welcome, everybody. This is Sandesh again from the Kundalini Awakening podcast. And today we have one of our colleagues, but we met in Amsterdam uh, at what's called the Social Hub. I was working there on a different project, and it seemed like the reason I had to be there was to meet Iulia Russu, because whenever I talked about numbers, numerology, Kundalini, her eyes just opened up like, I want to know more.
Yes.
And now we're about 2 years later or something like that, right? I think.
Yes, it's actually 2 years.
Yes, yes. And now you're partly your time you're helping the team, but you're making your own Kundalini journey, correct?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Well, happy to have you here, and we'll dive into that a bit later. Can you tell us a bit about Julia?
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here and very happy to be interviewed by you. A bit about Yulia. It's just how can you put such a vast being into five sentences.
Take your time. Take your time.
um, a bit about me. I am originally Romanian, but I'm living in Amsterdam, or I'm based in Amsterdam. And I love dancing and connecting with myself, and to be I feel like I've constantly been on a path of healing and discovery. I've always been very curious since I was a kid, curious about the world, but also curious about the inner world. Who am I? What's my role here? What do I want to do? What do I want to achieve? And so on and so forth. So everything I've done in the past years, I mean, since I was a kid, it really just brought me closer to who I am. And Kundalini Yoga played a very big role, meditation as well, played a very big role into discovering who I am and who I want to be and how I can get there. It just creates so much clarity. It doesn't mean that I'm always acting on those steps, but I see them. And at some point, I know the little steps that I take will get me there. So, besides that, where do I start?
Yeah, so what I hear, you are on a journey to find yourself in this place, in this world, to understand the right place, the right direction in this world, and that has been already one of your guiding questions since small, you say.
Yes. Yeah.
Go, can you tell us a bit back in times in Romania? Um, I guess your age is now, how old are you now?
I'm 23.
23. Turning 24, I guess, so you are a millennium baby.
I am a Gen Z baby.
Gen Z, oh, sorry, Gen Z baby. Gen Z, but you were born in the year 2000. Oh, that's
Yeah.
Gen Z, yeah? Okay. I'm so old. I don't know the difference. I thought it was a millennium baby. But okay, Gen Z baby here on the Kundalini Awakening podcast. Great. Tell us a bit about your youth, how your quest was accepted or was perceived in the environment in Romania.
I think it was a very how I felt it. I felt it like a very individual quest. I was in my own world, which no one really knew about. But that was the exciting part of it because people wouldn't interact with what I think, with what I feel, with where do I want to be, with all these questions that I had, I wouldn't usually share them with the people around me. Or even if I do, I would never really be satisfied with the answer. So I thought just better look within than find some answer without. Especially also because growing in Romania, it's been for me to some extent traumatic, because not everything I would think or would say would be allowed, socially acceptable to say. So then you would be judged on what you're saying. Then you wouldn't pass a class because you have your own opinion and you are not afraid to speak it out. So I was taught by my family that sometimes it's better to just shut up and not speak your mind all the time, because it's not necessarily something that it's celebrated in the culture that I grew in. I'm meaning more school culture, because in my family, in my house, we were allowed, of course, to speak our mind, and my parents always did so, and they always encouraged my brother and I to do the same, even with each other, even if we had conflicting opinions, which we did a lot of times, and it would cause a fight at some point, many, many times, they would still encourage us to speak our mind and to say what we feel and what we think. But outside that home, the society was very much um, not constructive. Um, what they were teaching in school was a lot of fear, to be afraid to be who you are, afraid to show yourself, afraid to think that you are good enough. It was a very harsh reality for a kid, and I felt that since the first grade. So since I was 7 years old till the very time I ended high school and I moved here in the Netherlands, I felt like I couldn't be who I want to be, and that was reflected also in my circle of friends, in the relationships that I had, also with my family, my extended family, or any romantic relationships. So I just thought this place is not for me. I'm never gonna be able to be who I want to be in a place like that values completely other things that just don't align with me. So
Mhm.
I was very much encouraged also by my parents throughout, I think since I was 14, that if I want to leave the country and to go for a more open-minded space, they are going to support me. So
What a lucky person you are, I must say.
I'm feeling very grateful for them and for having a family that really supported me in this transition and in this change, because it hasn't been easy moving away from everything, 19 years. Yeah, it might not be the best thing, but it was everything I knew, leaving it and moving to a whole different country. But arriving here, I think the first year was the easiest thing that I ever done. Then later on, and also now, and I think also growing older, it feels more like, okay, it's more and more difficult to be away from my family, mainly because society wise it's still the same, I think.
Hmm. Wow. So those first 19 forming years into adulthood, you describe a sense of not being safe to be who you are.
Exactly.
But luckily, you had a family, your parents held a space where you could be.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm. And go back to the moment that you decided, yes, I'm going to move out of this country. Can you tell us about the moment that decision came through?
Yeah, that was, I feel, looking reflecting back now to that moment, I think I was 18 or 17. I'm thinking I've done it so unconsciously. I don't think I thought it through of really what it means to be really away from everything you've ever known in a country with people that you don't know one. I didn't think I thought it through, and I think it's better that I did than I did not think it through, because then no fear no came out. I was just
A bit
completely
naive. A bit naive. Oh yeah,
yeah,
let's
yeah,
go
yeah.
somewhere.
A
Yeah.
bit naive as well, because at 17, you don't know what the adult life is like. And I think that was the same mindset when I moved here. I was 19, and the whole first year of university, I was just, I wasn't in the adult mindset. Of course, it was great to live alone, to take care of myself, to cook for myself. But, after 6, 7 months when COVID came and then no more studying, I realized, okay, it's not a fun anymore actually to take care of yourself every day, to cook every day, to do laundry, I realized, okay, that was fun, but now I would like to, have my mom here do the chores for me. The comfort of being in a place where you're being taken care of, it's very valuable. But
Mm.
at the same time, I always know, and even today, I'm telling myself, if I would have stayed there or if I would go back there, I'm not growing. I grew so much since I moved here, and I hear it, I know it for myself, but I also hear it from my family and for the people that knew me when I lived there, that I developed in such a way that I could have never, ever, ever developed in Romania, which
Mm.
it's amazing.
Can you give us some examples that your family said, "Whoa"? Some situations that they noticed you changed.
They noticed I changed in the way I approach communication with people. That's one thing that come to mind, because I used to be very direct. I'm still very direct, but I am direct in a way that doesn't hurt people anymore. Like I would say straight to your face what I think.
Oh,
Um, in a
doesn't sound very Romanian.
No, it's not. That's why I'm saying that in school I was very much punished for expressing myself, because that was
Mm,
my way of expressing myself, just being very straight, not trying to form it in any nice way to make you feel better, but just being super straight about what I feel.
mm,
Um and here I learned I can be very direct. That's why I like the Dutch culture, because it is valued also in both companies, also in the Kundalini Yoga Club, but also in the other company I work for. It is, since I work with Dutch people, they are so open and straightforward with what they think, that you also feel exactly the same to share your opinion. So I learned that yes, I can be direct and I can say exactly what I want to say, but in a more diplomatic way. And it just comes naturally now. It's because it adds that feeling of of care, of valuing the person in front of me, and just being more elegant with my words, because there is no point in not hurting each other, but even adding a sense of hurt or conflict in there, there's no point. So why not just be kinder? Yeah, that's about kindness. It's I just learn more kindness, and to express it when I'm trying to express myself. So I think that's one that really stood with me, and why I really like to connect with people, because by connecting with them, I'm connecting with myself. I'm practicing every day. How can I express myself with kindness?
when did you pick that up?
Just by, I don't know, just in the past years, by just navigating life, meeting people in university, being in environments with teachers, um, and by working, I guess, being connected with so many people in different areas. Um, Maybe it also came from the frustration of, if I say exactly what I think, it's not going to come off right. People are not going to hear me. They are going to hear that I'm insulting them, or that I'm too harsh, or that I'm trying to attack them, which is literally not what I mean and not what I'm trying to achieve with the way I communicate.
Mm.
So coming from that frustration that I felt unheard at some point in my life, I mean, I was telling you about my school experience. Every time I was speaking, they feel like I was attacking them when I was just trying to express my opinion.
Wow. And then you come in the Netherlands, where obviously everything is okay to say,
Exactly.
and people also say to you everything they think.
Exactly. At
How
first,
was that for you?
I was completely surprised at first. I thought that's rude. That's not okay. In school, especially the first months of university, when I was studying with Dutch people, and we were working on projects, and they were saying, "No, what you've done here is completely wrong," or something like that. I was like, "Huh, you could say it nicer." Then I approached them in this direction. They were saying, "Yeah, we are just very direct, and you should just embrace it and be the same." That's nice. That's
Okay.
nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So is there a world between nice and polite? Is there the difference?
Between nice and polite.
Yeah, have you discovered that in the Netherlands? What's the difference?
Hmm. I think it all starts. I don't know if I've discovered it, but I think it all starts from the purpose of why are you saying what you want to say. So that's, I think that would be the main difference that then would define it further between something sounding polite and something sounding nice to say.
And is polite, do you see polite people a lot, or would you see nice people here a lot, or both?
I think nice people. That's what I noticed, because it's also the way I received feedback. It was always in a nice manner, like in a chill, laid back, nice manner. It was never. I never felt really attacked.
Hmm.
Um,
Not personal, right?
not exactly, not personal. Yeah, it's just it's a very interesting approach here. About I feel like people here don't really take things personally, because it's, if I make a comment about your work, I'm only talking about your work, but it's nothing personal. That's what I felt, and it's maybe
And
it's
how
something
was that in Romania?
different. It's the complete opposite. That's what I'm trying to say. Is people take things so personally when it's just, in reality, it's not supposed to be like that.
Mm-hmm. So you learned that when you stay on the level of not talking about things we do instead of you are, or it's in communication so important. You say, I would like to focus about this thing that we're doing, or this what you did, but it's not you. It's just something you did.
Exactly.
And by pointing that out, you can really help people become conscious. Hey, it's not about you. It's about something that happened, and let's talk about that. Great. So you went actually to opposite sides in a way, right? Where probably the world, because I was born in Vietnam and was also a communist system. It was more about being polite
Mm,
to society,
yeah.
which actually meant you should lie,
Yeah.
uh, which is not nice.
No.
To my own opinion, right? Is it nice to lie to
No.
somebody?
No. 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 It's not nice.
Exactly. So would you say, if I say being nice is more true than being polite?
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. If you're being nice, you can still live from your own truth. But if you're being just polite, you are lying to that person. You are also lying to yourself
Mm,
consciously, but you're doing it.
mm,
Yeah.
wonderful. That came out very strong. I guess you mastered that.
I guess I did, and I'm still learning.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, okay. So now you're here, you studied, you understand that there's a world of being true and nice at one moment, where instead of where they think if you're true, you're not nice, right? Here it's okay to be true and nice. And then um how does your path on finding yourself evolve in the Netherlands?
I think here it just went full speed. Especially with the lockdown period, when I stayed here during lockdown. I think I went to Romania for a bit at first, but then I came here, although I studied online, just because I went there for 3-4 months, and I thought, I'm with my parents, it's nice, but there's no one there. There's nothing left of me there that I can grow from. So I had a conversation with them, and yes, it was more expensive to live here without working, without doing nothing really. I didn't need to be here, but they understood totally that there's nothing for me there. So I came here and I live with my friends, and that's when these 2 years of lockdown, that's when I grew the most, actually, because we were forced to stay in. Of course, I was going on walks to the park, connected to nature, but being inside and having nothing else to do than just some online courses from time to time created such a discipline for me that it was just fascinating. Waking up super early, going for a walk in the nature, then going home, cooking nice breakfast, then meditating, doing yoga, taking all the time that I had for really being with myself and taking care of myself and my mental health. It was so important. It was an aspect that I put so much value on during lockdown, because I had all the time in the world to integrate it and to really be curious about myself. What do I like? What do I want to do? Do I want to practice an instrument? Do I want to paint? I was trying everything just to entertain my inner child and just to have fun. It was a really, I mean, for me, it was a really transformative time, um, being inside, let's say. Um, because I created this discipline that it did wonderful to my mind, and it made me live way more truthfully and more from my heart.
So Corona was a blessing in disguise
I don't
for
want to
you.
call it like that because of all the terror
For
that
you.
happened, but for
But for you.
me, yes, for me it has been a wonderful spiritual transformative experience. Yeah,
Mm. I can actually relate to that. I believe also, if you look in society after the lockdowns went down in the Netherlands, all the restaurants couldn't find personnel anymore.
yeah,
People didn't want to become a waiter anymore.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
People got time to reflect on themselves and understood better in which direction they wanted to continue, including myself.
Mm.
Um, so the key of that part of your story, you're saying by forcefully having time with myself only, you made the most out of it, and you really connected more to your true self. Correct?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Be- Because when we met, I remember you organized the week of mental health at the social hub.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tell me, when did you understood that that was so important for you? This mental health. Where do you get this wisdom? Because there's other people that just drinking their way around, they just make parties at home and etc. But you use it to explore yourself. Um,
Yeah. I think I understood. So the first time this feeling occurred, I think it was again when I was a kid, and I felt many times that I am alone because I didn't have this collective society that I felt like I could rely on. So I thought I need to make a home out of myself. I need to know myself, and in order to know how to treat myself and be happy with myself and keep myself happy, entertained, sane. And then during COVID, that thought um, came again to my mind, because being inside, you could get distracted with a lot of Netflix and scrolling on your phone and um, just getting your mind distracted just to do something. But I think I also did that for a bit. But it's been 2 years. At some point, you say, okay, enough. There is way more out there that I can experience. Uh, there's a bunch of possibilities I can do to take care of myself. Where did this thought come from? It's just because I want better. I want to know more. I love learning about any topic out there. That's one thing about me. I do 10 things at a time, and I'm learning 10 things at a time just because it's amazing. The world is full of possibilities. Like, I really live Gen Z's. Really, I think I wasn't born with a phone in my hand, but I was maybe 11 when I got my first phone. So I would say that since I was at a very early age, I had access to Google. I had access to all kinds of websites, and besides, leave alone books that were also many years ago, that I could look up any subject I'm interested in and find out more about it. So with all this library of information. How can I not want to know more? And how can I not want to spend my time evolving and learning? And this thirst for information and gathering more information, learning and watching. And this is what keeps me happy and keeps me fulfilled. Um, so that's one aspect. And the other aspect is I believe that if I live in a healthy body, then I have a healthy mind. So then exercising and doing yoga and trying to understand my mind, trying to understand why my thoughts are in the way that they are, why I have some specific fears, where are they coming from? Really diving deep into that, I feel like can also elevate my mind, my heart, can make me feel happier and also more aware of who I am and how I can, manage those things and those expectations about myself. So
Incredible, and you are just 24. I cannot say the same about myself when I was 24.
yeah, I think it's also different times. I think for me, the COVID period, that was the switch, because something like that, I think, since I was born, and I don't know before, but I don't think there was an epidemic like this that forces you to have so much time to spend it on whatever you want as long as you stay inside. That was something fascinating for me.
And where did you get the wisdom to go through all this information to know which information serves you? Because there's an abundance of information, but it also serves a lot of negativity, duality. How do you deal with that?
I guess you learn that through knowing yourself. I know what right now I learned this, but right now I know what belongs to me, what should belong to me, and what's really something that it just cannot bother me, cannot ever belong to me. However much I used to before when I was in high school to make things, to really want to be something or someone, and then fight so much and put so much energy into that, then later on realize that it just wasn't meant to be, because it just I would never be that person, for example. And I'm not saying it in a that I regret it, but because it just didn't serve me. I saw it later, but right now I feel like if you live in a in a conscious awareness of who you are, what you like, what you love, what you don't like, what fits you or what doesn't, and what you want to do in order to get to the path where you would like to be on, then I think you flow easier through the things that belong to you, and the things that don't belong to you just kind of pass you on your way.
So you're talking about the ability to make choices consciously, to know whether they serve you into the direction you would like to see yourself,
Exactly.
and not living a unconscious life.
Totally. Yeah.
Mm,
Because it's
mm,
so simple to live an unconscious life nowadays. Again,
mm,
we have all the resources to keep ourselves distracted from living the present, the moment of the now, consciously. We have them everywhere. It's uh, it's scary. It's really scary, because you have to be so sane and aware of yourself and of what you want in order to keep yourself grounded.
mm. And how do you keep sane?
How do I keep sane? By being close to myself, yeah, eventually. And how am I close to myself? By taking time and doing activities that I think provide me with some kind of clarity. So, for example, meditation is one of them. Breath work is another one. Um, but then also I realize I do all of this and I feel drained, I feel like I have no fun. Sometimes I really do feel like that. So then I realized I need to do some things to satisfy my inner kid. Like some very silly things, like, I don't know, play how do you call it, volleyball in the park, volleyball, no, frisbee in the park. I used to love that when I was a kid. If I do that for 30 minutes with someone, I just have so much fun. Or act super silly, or watch a cartoon since from when I was a kid. Just things like this, so I can also get in touch with that side, that um, kid side that I have within. Then I like to paint also. If a lot of time passes when I'm doing nothing artistic, I realize also I feel a bit drained. So then I try to satisfy that part as well. So why do I keep saying? It's just, again, I know myself. I know that if I'm trying to satisfy too much of one part, the other one is going to go down. And then I'm going to feel a lack of inspiration, a lack of creativity, which is also going to show in my work, or in my speech, or it's all connected.
So you have realized that there are different personalities inside of you that need to have proper attention and balanced attention.
Of course, there are the personalities of every person I've ever been. When I was a 5-year-old kid, a 7-year-old, a 12-year-old, and so on.
Mm.
All of these, they live within me, and they also need to be satisfied in some way or another.
Beautiful, beautiful consciousness. I must say, I think I've been connecting to my inner child only maybe since 2014. When I started my Kundalini Yoga teacher training, I start to realize there's an inner child part.
Exactly.
Um, and do you connect to that traumatized part that
Yeah,
didn't feel safe?
yeah, I do. I do quite often, and sometimes unexpectedly. I think the most I feel it when I do Kundalini Yoga. That's exactly when I feel that there is a certain energy that unlocks um, in certain parts of the body, because I feel them tingling, or I feel a certain pain or tension there. Sometimes it lasts for longer hours or longer days, but sometimes it's really just a momentarily feeling. And I think I said this before, but almost every time I meditate after I do Kundalini Yoga, I cry. It's not consciously. I meditate and it just, tears come out. Always. Always. And sometimes it's way more than other times. So I think a lot is healing. And I can
Crying
see
is healing.
crying is healing, of course. You're healing all the suffering that you've been through at some points in your life. And sometimes I can visualize certain images in my meditation that come out of nowhere. I'm sure they come from somewhere. Since I was a kid, especially when I felt that I couldn't speak, or when I felt repressed, or when I felt like my words didn't matter for this person that I was trying to express them towards. Um, yeah, and they just come out of nowhere, because it's just I wasn't thinking about it, but they show up in this meditation after I do specific exercises for a specific chakra. So I think, again, it's all connected. And slowly, if I insist, I think things are healing, because I'm starting to feel more worthy about my speech, and I'm starting to feel like what I say actually matters, and that I can take space, and that there is a space for me to talk, and there are people that actually want to listen. So all of these things, they feel better. 4 years ago, I wouldn't think so. When I moved to the Netherlands, I was scared to talk out, to speak up.
Wow, in 4 years, huh? 4 years, you just unlocking all the truth inside of you.
Yeah,
So you did Kundalini yoga. You came across the mantra called Sat Nam.
yeah.
Can you explain, or has it touched you? Has it grabbed you, or how do you look at that mantra?
Hmm. I have practiced the. Is it the? How do you call it? the meditation. It's a meditation, right? Um,
And Satnam can be applied in meditation for sure. It's a
yeah,
mantra, yeah.
yeah, but I've practiced, I would say, mantra meditation. I think a couple of times, and once with a partner. I think at the um, tantra event
Hmm.
organized by the Kundalini Yoga Club, and that was my first time practicing it. I think mantra meditation with Satnam. It was so powerful. It was just it's so difficult to put it into words because it's a feeling, but I was somewhere here. It's just like I was floating, but in such pure allness, in such pure balance. It was a magical moment. I remember that time, and I think it was the highlight of my tantra day uh,
Oh, wow.
that
Yeah,
day.
so Satnam was the mantra given by the first guru, Guru Nanak. He brought this mantra into the world. He said, you have to do your best to really live your true self. Being polite, being living according to rules, it doesn't help.
Oh,
The only way to help is to reach your true self and listen to your inner truth. And that wisdom inside will give you the guidance you need to move forward in your life. And while I'm hearing your story, all the time Satnam comes through me that you are really living Satnam. You're really connecting to what serves me. What is the experience that I need to make? I want to make from consciousness. So maybe you didn't realize, but for me, you're like um, a beautiful embodiment of Satnam.
hmm, beautiful.
Mm, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the Kundalini. So you got some invitation. I think it's when was the first time you did Kundalini yoga?
2 years ago, I think that's actually funny because a few months before we've met, I practiced Kundalini yoga twice at some studios in Amsterdam, and I was interested. I thought, this seems like something I would like, because the thing about yoga and what I've practiced before that is just a lot of stretching and a lot of physical exercise, which I've always felt yoga is not always exercising and stretching. It's so much more. It's about breath work and about unlocking yourself and unlocking energy and letting it out. So I never really was my thing till I found Kundalini yoga. I thought, this is stretching. I can do stretching at home. Like it's not a feeling that I'm going for. Then I tried Kundalini yoga, and I was hooked. I was interested. I thought, I liked it, and then I met you, and then you proposed to come to your yoga classes, Kundalini yoga classes in Harlem. So I remember that winter. I don't remember. It was 2 years ago. Yes, I remember that winter when I went from January to March. I think every Sunday. It was a trip for me to come to Harlem from Amsterdam. Wake up super early, which I wasn't a fan of at all, um, and do it. And I remember every time I was leaving, I was calling my mom, and I was feeling so full of energy and so was just feeling amazing. And also during the session, I was fascinated by what Kundalini yoga entails and combines all the elements of the asanas, of the specific breath of fire, and then finishing with the 10 minutes savasana meditation. It was just something was moving, something was flowing. It was obvious. I was feeling it in my body, and I think that was the thing that actually stuck with me and wanted me to know more, because I was at the end of the session, I was feeling energy flowing. I was feeling that I released energy. I could see, I said it before, but I can always visualize a purple dot moving right here after a Kundalini yoga session. It's not all of them, but most of them. And if it doesn't move there, I'm thinking, maybe I should have done more. Like, hmm, today the energy is not there.
That's like your inner game. Is the
Yeah,
ball
yeah, yeah,
bouncing around
exactly.
or not?
Exactly.
Yeah. So beautiful. So you realize there's a lot more inside of you after a session of Kundalini yoga.
Yeah, totally.
Beautiful. And then we got the invitation to organize some Kundalini events, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah.
How has that journey for you been to organize the yogi in one day?
It's been very interesting because so I am an event organizer. I've organized all kinds of events before. But what was different about this one was that I was working with Kundalini Yoga teachers, so with yogis themselves. So that communication and that collaboration was what made the whole difference compared to all other events I've done before. Um, it was it was way more fulfilling than anything I've done before because I start from the why. I always remember, why am I doing this? Why are we doing this? What do we want to create? And it always brings me to, I felt and I still feel um, a lot of things from the Kundalini Yoga, practicing it. I get closer to myself and I unlock energy and I unlock trauma and I am a better person. So why not share that into the world? And I'm always motivated by that. What we are doing, we are teaching people that there is a way, the Kundalini Yoga way, that you can actually change your whole life and be the best version of yourself, be who you want to be, um, get where you always wanted to get. It's just that there is not that much awareness around it. So thinking always of that reason, organizing the yogi in one day events, that was what kept me going. And we are creating some some support system or some sharing knowledge about something that's so valuable
Mm.
and developing a support structure and an education that you cannot really learn anywhere. You don't learn about these things in university or at school
Or even in medicine.
or even in medicine, exactly. But it's fascinating because like I'm involved a lot in I look up research a lot, and I found some pieces of research on Kundalini yoga and on the kirtan kriya. Fascinating that many of them are quite recent, and it's beautiful to see that it's starting to be studied way more. So it means that every little effort that also we are doing, it's just getting recognized that these Kundalini yoga practices are changing people, so they are changing the world. So how can we help people with this practice? It's fascinating.
Beautiful, huh?
It
All
is.
in 2 years. I think 2 years of starting Kundalini yoga, huh? But you've always had your inner wisdom guide you, and it guided you to wake up early, go from Amsterdam Belmer towards Haarlem Center, which is probably a trip of 1.5 hours or
Yeah,
so. Um, and you did it, and you connected to it, and you it wasn't logical to do so because there are so many yoga lessons in Amsterdam.
yeah,
But you
exactly.
took the invitation, and then you ended up in the organizing, or we've done already 3 times the yogi in one day. And you're right, it's about serving. We are healing ourselves and serve those that are interested in it with what we've learned. And that makes, working with yogis so beautiful, because we're not here just to gather more wealth and store it somewhere. It's that just has no value. Uh, we're here to share. We're here to bring health back, and I guess that what you're learning is actually part of the manual to the human body technology.
Mm.
E- When we buy a car, we need to read the manual. Everything we buy, we need to read the manual. But the physical body, or let's just say everything around the physical body that we've been given, where's the manual? So
There is none.
there's none. And now you've been on the path of Kundalini Yoga. Um, are you starting to get grasp of pieces of that manual? Is that unlocking for you, or is it still like, oh, where are you in that part?
I feel like I know, but then I feel like there is so much to know still. It's fascinating because sometimes I feel more and more. I don't want to say confident because I'm not sure it's about confidence. Again, it's about the feeling. Some days I feel more empowered with this feeling of I have all the resources I need within, and I know more and more about the human body, energy points, and I definitely know more than 2 years ago. So writing on that manual, I think I can start to write a bit more than I could 2 years ago for sure. But I
Awesome.
still feel like there are way more years to invest into learning about the human experience and how to heal ourselves while we are on earth. So I can start to write maybe a few pages, but I think you have to fill in the rest.
Well, maybe you just keep on writing, huh? Someday you publish it when the time is right, I guess. Um, and then where are you now with the Kundalini yoga? What's keeping you busy?
It's the morning practice is always keeping me busy, which is such a profound way of living since I discovered it, and actually since I implemented it, because of course I knew about it, but it's another thing to actually take action and start creating daily sadhana to do it really every day. And I started doing that with the help of the Kundalini Yoga Coaching program. So that created, I understood the value of it and why it's so important to have it, not as a Kundalini Yoga teacher, but just as a person. Why it's so important to have this morning time, morning ritual in which you do some Kundalini Yoga exercise. You do what actually works for you. For me, what works is doing some Kundalini Yoga exercises, doing some breath work or meditation, and dancing. I'm trying to fluctuate between this, but never skip it. And if I cannot do it in the morning, I'm trying to be flexible to do it after work or do it before sleep. Because I realize how out of balance I can be if I don't practice it, if I don't do this every day. And yes, it keeps me busy, but I think more importantly, it keeps me balanced. And it keeps me it just makes me very good about showing up for myself. It's some self-care time that you are giving to yourself. If you know it does you good, you keep on going, even though you don't feel like it. Many times I don't feel like it, of course. It's just, I know that tomorrow or the day after or in a week, I'm going to feel very down. And then I'm going to really want to do some yoga and meditate. But why get to that point when I can just keep a steady flow of work and just be already a good person with the help of that. I just realized that with the help of this daily practice, I am just a nicer person with myself and also with the people around me. I'm a better daughter. I communicate openly with my parents nicely. I'm a better girlfriend, partner. I'm a better friend to my friends. And it all, as you said, it all comes from a point of serving. It's just the ego just learns to shut up slowly, to erase easily and like slower. And then it's just everything I do, it's from a point of serving. Doesn't matter what I get in return. Doesn't matter it's just that doesn't matter. It's just as long as I serve people in with my behavior, with my words, with my actions, I feel very good about myself. I feel happy. So that's where I am at with Kundalini Yoga, and with the daily practice.
Wow. And you realize you start to implement it through the the coaching online coaching course, right?
Yes, with the help of it.
How is the structure of the how did it help you? How's the structure of that course help you? Because you say it's actually something that's good for everybody, not just for teachers.
Exactly, because I am not a Kundalini Yoga teacher. I am a practitioner and I really enjoy doing it. Uh, but in the end, I'm just a person super interested in Kundalini Yoga. So the structure and what actually led me to this is, there are the 30-day Awaken the Coaching You program within the Kundalini Yoga Coaching program, and every day you have a different principle. So slowly I started watching these principles, which really resonated with me. They're very powerful for the era and the days we are living in right now, where everything happens so fast and you have to show up to a bunch of meetings and you have to run from a place to another and take care of 10 things at a time. These principles really make you a kinder, more present person and really show up for the things and people that matter to you. um, so that was already one start, because doing watching one of those videos every day, it created a kind of daily practice which was part of my routine. Then later on, Guru Gyan started talking about how important it is to have this daily sadhana, and how much more disciplined you are going to be if you push yourself, especially at first, especially the first weeks or months where you find all the excuses in the world to not do it, to not wake up early, to get on the mat and do it. um, he was saying that later on, as you go, you will see for yourself the real value that this daily practice brings, and how can this further help you in becoming a better person and eventually a better coach for your clients, to better serve the needs of your clients. So it was his words in the end that actually inspired me to keep on going, because I was curious. I think first we started with a 40-day practice, 40-day challenge, and I was curious what's going to happen after 40 days if I do this. Well, how am I going to feel, like really playfully, like, am I going to feel something? Am I going to just be like, ma, this was useless, or this was really powerful? I was just super curious, because I like to challenge everything I encounter, and I'm not gonna trust people just because they tell me something. So I was just really curious. 40 days of having a daily practice, what's that gonna do to me? And it did wonders. It really did wonders. Waking, and it was also winter when I started doing this. So waking up every morning in the dark, in the cold, getting on the mat. Um, Fascinating what it can do to you, actually. So of course, after these 40 days, I wanted to keep the practice going. Yeah.
Wow. And was there any moment that you thought this Kundalini is dangerous?
Dangerous? No, no. I didn't think it's dangerous when I was practicing it, or when I was in a class being taught Kundalini Yoga poses. I think it can be dangerous if you do it incorrectly, if you do it with a teacher that doesn't care about integrating the experiences and the emotions that you're feeling. I think it's a very important question, and an important part of the answer, I think, for me at least, relates to integration of the experience, because it's not only stretching, as I was saying. Kundalini yoga can be very powerful if you are really following a daily practice. Especially, it can wake up so much in you, so many stored traumas and emotions that you don't even remember you have them. So if you don't have a teacher, or if you don't have within yourself a person can that knows how to integrate an experience like this through journaling, through meditation, through breath work, through talking, if you don't have that, then I think it can be dangerous, because you wake up and you don't know how to deal with your emotions anymore because they are all new.
Yes. It's called, there's three supporting pillars within the Kundalini Yoga. We have the Guru, which is the knowledge, the technology that guides you from darkness to light.
Mm.
That's a consciousness that you develop. Then we have something we call the Sangat, the community around, where we support each other, where we listen to each other, where we come together to talk through that, life of practicing Kundalini yoga. And the third is Dharma, to live a life of service, to know that life is not just about you, to join together to serve more, and to make the world a more fulfilling served place, instead of place where people just take and make it less safe, right? And so I'm very grateful that you touched all the three parts in your conversation. uh,
I think as long as teachers live from these three principles, there cannot be unsafe environment in the Kundalini Yoga lesson.
and where do you see yourself now in a few years?
With Kundalini Yoga or generally?
It could be with Kundalini yoga, or while we were sitting on a yogi, and one day you were sitting with me on that place of the teacher's place. And what did you say? You said something.
Oh, on the teacher place or
Yeah,
after?
yeah. No, on the teacher place.
Um, what did I say?
Like, oh, it's nice here.
Ah, yeah. I said that it's nice on the mat. It's nice here in front of the people.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
see yourself becoming? Is that a way of serving?
Oh,
Because
yes. Yes. It is definitely a way of serving. It, if not the most powerful way of serving I felt so far
mm,
from all the activities and jobs I've done. Um, I do see myself at some point becoming a teacher. I don't know if a Kundalini Yoga teacher, but that would be very nice. However, not anytime soon. I see
mm,
myself becoming one later on in life.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, as I said, I have so many interests that I just want to touch upon a few more
Mm.
before I become a teacher.
Very understandable. I think a teacher must have had experience,
Exactly.
right? And
Exactly.
how about the coaching? Are you doing the coaching course now? Are you coaching people?
I'm coaching two people. Yes.
How's that
So
for you?
it's again, it's an experience, a beautiful experience where I'm learning so much about myself, and where I'm really being empowered by the feeling of serving, because the preparation, the integration, and the session in itself of me really being there for that person, for their needs and their wishes, it's the most selfless thing I've ever done, probably. And there is no, I believe that there is no self. We shouldn't think that there is myself and yourself. There is no self. So being living in a getting to experience some moments of complete selflessness through helping someone else, through giving them my time and my attention and my knowledge, it's beautiful. It's a feeling that I cannot compare to anything else I've ever lived. It's being of service in the end, which I mean, I have a four as my what is it, my karmic number, I think. And serving for me, if I serve, I'm feeling balanced. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling like I'm making a contribution to the world.
Mm, mm. Yes, if you have a four on your karmic position, that's the way to go. You're right. Yeah. Wow. Beautiful. it's for me personally. It's such a pleasure to listen to your story. It gives me the hope. It gives me hope that the people of your generation are also actively walking their paths to contribute to the world, and that that Kundalini is a Kundalini yoga is a useful tool through all ages, not just for when you're 40 or 50.
Oh.
Um, and I'm so happy that you're part of our team. Thank you so much for helping. Is there anything you'd like to say to the people who don't know the path of self-discovery and who maybe have never done yoga or Kundalini yoga? What would you say to them
Hmm.
from your age?
Yes. I would say that discovering yourself is the most, I don't even know how to describe it. Discovering yourself, for me, discovering myself is the reason I'm here. So discovering yourself is a very big reason of why we are here, to experience ourselves, to experience life in a way that makes you aware of who you are. And because who we are in our essence, it's so beautiful to find out. And for people that haven't tried Kundalini Yoga before, for people that are interested in knowing themselves better, um, in a world that always feeds you information about who you are and who you have to be, and in a world that's so easy to get lost, Kundalini Yoga is a very interesting tool to find out who you are and to bring you closer to a life that is actually fulfilling and is not all about wealth or having more or doing more. And it's just on the other side more about being more, and yeah, being at peace with yourself. I am at peace with myself if I know myself. I don't know if that's the case for everyone, but I think it can definitely bring you a bit more calmness and a bit more happiness if you are in touch with who you are. If you create, as I said before, if you create a home of yourself, where you live comfortably for the rest of your life.
Beautiful. I would like to thank you so much for sharing your journey. And I thought, oh, I'd love to have you back maybe in a year or two to see where you are. But Wahe Guru, we would say in the Kundalini Yoga. It's like the universe is so great. Um, Thank you for sharing your consciousness story and journey. And I wish you a lot of fun in self discovery.
Thank you so much, Hai, for having
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
It's
and
really interesting.
yes. I want to thank the listeners so much for if you're still there and listening to this story, you made it. Congratulations. Um, Thank you for following our journey and um, following the journey to discover yourself. I hope, and I'm sure that Julia hopes that this podcast has found a way to your heart because we did it to serve you. And from that place, I say goodbye. See you next time in the Kundalini Awakening podcast. Take care. Bye bye.